in the spirit, of collaboration and all that, for Library Research Week, we often call people from other divisions within the university also to explain some of the activities and services that they are offering. We Today we have, or now we will have two colleagues from the Center for the Advancement of Social Impact and Transformation. We all know, that research actually has impacts. We heard from Dr. Jason this morning in terms of how, research was converted into a company, into a startup company, basically. So here we are going now to talk about the social impact of research as a key strategy of SU. And they are going to introduce us to some concepts and practices of engaged scholarship and engaged citizenship. Just to quickly read their bios. The first speaker, let me just say, there are two speakers, Mr. Mawetu Nyagacha and Ms. Michelle Peterson. I don't know who's going to be the first speaker, but Mr. Nyagacha is a manager engaged scholarship at Stellenbosch University, promoting community engagement through research and teaching. He has degrees in ecology from Nelson Mandela University and an MSc in subantarctica ecology from Stellenbosch University. And he has worked as a field researcher in the subantarctic Marion Island and at the South African National Biodiversity Institute. He later transitioned into research management, completing courses at Stellenbosch University Business School and serving as a project manager at the Center of Excellence for Invasion Biology. His current focus is fostering scholarly partnerships between the university and societal organizations, while advancing, engaged scholarship nationally and internationally through workshops, collaborations, and publications. Regarding Ms. Peterson, she is currently manager engaged citizenship at the Center for the Advancement of Social Impact and Transformation. And her responsibilities include engaged citizenship at Stellenbosch University. She has 17 years experience of working as a community practitioner. In this role, she is responsible for leadership training for all social impact leaders within the residence environment, faculty committees and societies, encompassing both the Tygerberg and Stellenbosch campuses. The focus of this structured volunteer program is to create experimental learning opportunities for students that align with the university's 2040 vision of fostering a transformative student experience. And this program supports the institutional commitment to reciprocity, redress, development, and transformation. So it goes on and on and on. You can see that Ms. Michelle is also accomplished in her role, and she has a lot of experience in what she does. So I'll just hand over to both of you colleagues. You will decide who's going to do what. I'm sure you've already discussed that. Over to you.
My mic is disabled. Oh, there you go. Morning, everyone. This is Mawetu speaking. I'm going to present first. Let me just load my presentation. But I can just say in the meantime, for the advancement of social impact and transformation is a support unit in the university and is within the RC social impact transformation and staff. We have a mandate to facilitate and support staff, students, and community partners. I am not seeing my presentation. Anyway, I'll go with that one. My presentation is still loading. Can you colleagues hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Thank you, Krishna.
Okay, just loading my presentation. So as I was saying, we are a support unit within the RC, Social Impact Transformation and Staff, and we support students, academics, and community partners, and we engage through engaged scholarship for research and engaged research and engaged teaching and learning, especially for our academic programs. And then we engage students through engaged citizenship. So I'm going to present a session on engaged scholarship. Let's see, so I thought to start with a definition. So engaged scholarship is knowledge creation that is done by partnership between university and community through various forms of scholarship, that is engaged research or engaged teaching and learning. The purpose is to partner university resources with community. We believe that this way of work enriches scholarship. It benefits the university research and teaching methods. We believe that it prepares educated and engaged citizenship citizens. We think that it strengthens democratic values and civil responsibility, and also addresses critical societal issues and contributes to public good. And to try and understand a little bit more, how does this approach, academic approach, differs from other ways of conducting scholarship? So we have a look here that there are three forms of being, three ways of being in the academe. You can be a detached scholar that focuses on working with ideas and no concern for the application of that work. There is also a science for society scholarship, where there is an understanding that the university work must be applicable to societal issues. But the process of producing that knowledge doesn't necessarily collaborate with communities. So the understanding is that universities are the producers and owners of knowledge, and which knowledge is then used to address societal issues. But what we are promoting at the Center for Advancement of Social Impact and Transformation, we're promoting engaged scholarship, which is about producing knowledge by partnership with communities. We talk about knowledge ecology, which means university knowledge, community knowledge, working together to produce new knowledge that benefit both the university and the communities. So the ideas of co-creation of knowledge, and often this work is transdisciplinary. We say here that, when communities or society has problems and university has faculties, but often problems of society will need faculties to work together to be able to, to address those societal challenges. And why do we promote this kind of work? Well, it's from a realization that our society looks like the top picture. It's characterized by inequality. If you can think in your mind between formal and informal settlements, the one part is characterized by high rate of unemployment, poverty, crime, substance abuse, and poor service delivery. And so that kind of setup requires all sectors of society to pull together in terms of addressing those issues. So in the new democratic dispensation of 1994, the policy of higher education require that all universities in South Africa have, amongst their activities of research and teaching and learning, have a function of community engagement. Now, this function looks differently at different universities. Some of them approach it as outreach initiatives. Some is community interaction, social responsiveness. At Stellenbosch Universities, our approach is social impact. And it's also visible in our Vision 2040 statement, where we say Stellenbosch wants to be Africa's leading research-intensive university, globally known for being inclusive, innovative, and excellent, where we promote knowledge in service of society. So the work of our Center for Advancement of Social Impact and Transformation focuses on that part of promoting knowledge in service of society. And the way we do this, I'm going to show you how our social impact support structures looks like in the university. So we have a vice rector, social impact and transformation and staff. And then you have social impact committees of Senate with representatives from all faculties. And we have senior director, social impact and transformation. And you have social impact representative and committees that are sitting as faculties. And then you have the center, which is a central structure that coordinates the work. And our focus areas look like engaged scholarship, which is my portfolio. And then we have my portfolio, of course, support academic activities of staff, research and teaching and learning. Then we have engaged citizenship that focuses on student volunteerism. Then we have special projects where university is encouraged to be a democratic corporate citizenship. Of course, we have admin and support staff that makes the work of the unit a little bit easier. So for this work to happen, the key word is partnerships. You cannot engage or, deliver on social impact without partnerships. So our partnerships looks like this way. We have institutional partnerships that are sort of long-term, and they are often with government units. The Western Cape government, we have a long-standing relationship. We have a long-standing relationship with the city of Cape Town and various municipalities in the project, in the province. What we do with them, we have memoranda of understanding where we agree on the areas that we want to work together in. Often we put funding together to kickstart some of the work. And in those collaborations, we look for benefits for the university in terms of publications or student training, but we also look for benefits for the societal partners. In the case of government, it could be policy, it could take the form of programs or just recommendations. We also have faculty-based memoranda of understanding. It's often between faculty and civil society or community-based organizations, and these are based on specific projects that the faculty is doing with the societal partner. This is to show you activities where we promote engaged scholarship in the university. So we have annual orientation session that are basically information sharing to staff and sometimes senior postgraduate students, but also community partners, basically to share what we do in the center and why and how we do it. And then we share available support that staff, senior postgraduate student, and communities can approach our center for various forms of support that are available. We have this sort of early in the year and once, but people can always approach our center for, consultation and advice. We also have capacity building workshops where we target our staff that are interested to shape their research projects, teaching programs in this manner that collaborates with external partners. So here, the staff of the center will facilitate session, but those that are advanced in community engagement will be sharing their knowledge with their peers from how to start a project, to how to manage the relationship with external partners. Also share in general, how is the experience of working this way? Because it's sort of different to your traditional academic approach. We also have communities of practice where colleagues that are working on similar projects or initiatives or that are interested in getting involved in this way, we bring them together around the table and they will discuss key issues and emerging issues in the field of community engagement. And this is done to encourage collaboration and, conferencing. We also invite them to participate in national community engagement structures as well as international community engagement structures. And then towards the end of the year, we have the annual Social Impact Symposium, where we showcase initiatives, social impact initiatives of the university, and then we celebrate the achievements of these colleagues and their partners. And basically, we create space to inspire and where others can learn. This is just to show you some of the examples of social impact initiatives that we were involved in over the years. We had a relationship between the University Stellenbosch Faculty of Education with the West Cape Department of Education, working together on after schools program. The Western Cape Department of Education needed to improve the after schools program. So research was conducted, capacity building was, targeting the leaders of this after schools program. And there were knowledge exchange sessions for the leaders to learn from each other. And these are in the form of fun activities that school-going youth participate in, but basically was to promote what works in this kind of program, to try and standardize them in the province, but also address the challenges that these programs are facing. And the whole idea is to support the schooling system. We also had a partnership between the university and the municipal department of fire, where the idea was to reduce fires especially in informal sets. So the idea in this kind of work was to develop strategies with the people on the ground that are affected that will be useful to reduce the problem of fires in informal settlements. The strategies could be in the form of awareness campaigns and smoke detectors that can be installed in informal settlements that can be used as early warning before fires happen. But there was also a training of fire marshals, people who will be capacitated with a know-how of what to do in the case of fire. And these will be people that are based in those settlements where the problems occurs. Other examples of initiatives, collaborative initiatives, university department and societal organizations. The Papama SEDI is a student-driven initiative, mostly by the students of the economic and management sciences, but other students in other faculties also get involved. But the idea here is that students act as mentors to community-based businesses, and they work together to help these small businesses to develop business plans and marketing and management of funds in the businesses. So the benefit here is that students get to use and benefit whilst they are studying, let's say in the field of business sciences. They get to use their knowledge and apply it in practical situations. At the same time, businesses get to benefit because they go out with good business plans and ideas of how to grow their business. And then we have the Jalapiwo initiative, mainly in the Faculty of Agri-Sciences. This initiative is focusing on school gardens and the West Coast rural areas, rural schools. And the idea here is the initiative of government to have school gardens, and then the gardens can be used to supplement the feeding scheme, but also used as a tool for education purposes. So the university got involved to develop manuals that can be used to teach learners about various kinds of nutrition and just the sciences of gardens. And university also get involved in terms of teaching gardeners that are often experienced in the field because they are coming from those areas, but the university is introducing new technologies and sustainable ways of gardening, and maybe even, saving water, those kind of issues. Yeah, in these projects, there could also be, we had an MSc study that was conducted within this project of the Jalapiwo, focusing on monitoring and evaluation of the program. Colleagues, let me leave it here in terms of engaged scholarship, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Michelle Peterson, who's going to talk on engaged citizenship. That's all from me. Over to you, Michelle. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mawethu. I'm just going to load my PowerPoint. Is that visible for everybody? Can you all see that?
Yes, Michelle.
Okay. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to share the work with students. Thank you to my colleague Mawethu for also sharing the work that he does. And it's great to be here and to be part of your exciting week. Yes. So my work, I always explain it It's with the students. It's a totally different way of thinking and a total different way of being. I am just going to give you an outline to what I would like to talk about. Our work is mainly based on experiential learning and experiential education. We will just outline the graduate attributes. We'll speak about the...
So can you do a slideshow?
Sorry?
Can you do it on slideshow? Use the presentation.
I can't hear you.
Can you do the presentation on slideshow?
Oh, slideshow. Sorry.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes, thank you.
Yes, sorry. Here we
Yes,
go.
thank you.
Okay. I reminded my colleague about slideshow and then I forgot. Sorry about that. So yeah, the outline. So I will just be speaking about the different courses and offerings that we do offer to students, and then just a little bit about our work that we do with students. So for the purpose of this work that we do, our work is really based in experiential learning or experiential education. We are in partnership with the unit of experiential education. And here I want to also say thank you to our partner, Dr. Ruth Andrews, who has done exceptional work to develop this for our students, where we would otherwise have had the ivory tower knowledge. As I put this, ivory tower knowledge, they come to class, they learn about things in class, they get the degree and they leave. But what other knowledge would be there for students to learn? And this is where the experiential learning unit has really opened up a different way of learning for our students. And I'm just leaving this quote for you to read. And this is really what has happened. It's transformed our students through experiences. What are the experiences that they find on the ground, and what are the learnings that happen through that? And how do they actually learn through that to become a citizen of South Africa? And yes, going to be having the degree and working in the workspace, but also become more than just that degree. And this is what our work is really about for our students. So we really say it's matching the ivory tower knowledge with the tacit knowledge that we find that within communities, like Mawetu has explained, there are also knowledge. And how do we explain that to students and actually say to them, you create new knowledge through that, especially where students develop and learn with communities. So part of the experiential education program that we work with the unit of experiential learning, our offering is that of social impact. And what that says is that we acknowledge the individual and collective actions and acts of service by students in response to community challenges and the needs. So often our students would have activities that communities would identify, and students would then latch onto that, and we really base that on the sustainable goals, the UN sustainable goals, which students can then choose a goal and work that with the needs of the community. So it's always collaborative. Our students also apply innovative thinking, critical thinking, technical knowledge, and they transfer the skills to the society. But also society would transfer skills to them, which will strengthen their learning experience at Stellenbosch University. This is a formal year-long program which we've designed for student leaders. And the student leaders would be those ones that are societal leaders, that are part of societies, students that are in faculty committees. I'm not too sure if you all know that every faculty has a student faculty committee, and they have a portfolio of social impact. So if you want your students also to be part of those kind of learnings, they can form part of the cohort with us, and we can support them. So at the university, we have, I think last year, we have the new 5 graduate attributes that is part of our 2040 vision. We would like our students to have an inquiring mind. We would want them to be an engaged citizen. We want them to be this dynamic professional, which they will be, well-rounded individual, and this digital knower. So part of the learning would also include all of these attributes. And I think this is where we can, in our experiential work, we can focus on these kind of graduate attributes so that when they leave the year-long program, they are able to say, I have captured all of this into my learnings. And as part of our work at Social Impact, and especially the engaged citizenship, we prepare our leaders for public-minded leadership. And through CASIT, students receive training through sustainable community development. So as I said before, it's a year-long program. So as you know, the student leadership would come in September as part of their leadership. The program would run for the whole year till August. And we would have different forms of training that will happen. Usually, people would think that training just happens at the beginning of leadership training, but what we have done and designed with the unit of Dr. Ruth, we've designed a whole year-long program so that students are constantly sharing their activities, they are sharing their experiences, they are having time to also have peer learning that happens with that. So we really ensure that skills and competencies are being learned, but also they have a chance to reflect through that. So where is our location of our work? Currently, we're working between Stellenbosch campus, the main campus, and our Tygerberg campus, and we are basically just structured within the Western Cape. We work with NGOs, we work with schools, we work with community-based organizations. What are the 4 offerings that we have? We have 4 offerings, and this is the Advancing Engaged Citizenship online course, which is a 7-module course that we run through the short course division. That is open for any student. I will explain that to you now. So we have the Transformative Social Work online course, which we specifically work with the social work department. And then we have the Activating Engaged Citizenship, which is an experiential offering for our student leaders that hold the portfolio Social Impact. And then we have a new course which we launched this year that is also part of the experiential education, Impacting Communities Through Volunteerism. So I will just explain those 4 offerings to you, and maybe you could see how some of these offerings could assist you in your work. So the Advancing Engaged Citizenship is an online module which we run through Sun Online. It's 7 modules. Our vision is it's ideally speaking to the transformative student experience, preparing students for the global market. The online course has 7, let me just quickly tell you, 7 modules. And we really want the students to redream, rethink, reimagine. We want to create them in an enabling environment where students are inspired to play an active role in society. We want to also prepare them for the world out there. So the course really has 7 modules speaking to accessing and analyzing of information. That is the flyer that we have. And this module would speak to specifically now, how do they see information? How do we speak to decolonizing the information that they receive? Then we have curiosity and imagination. That speaks to curiosity, plays an important role in awakening imagination. Where are you going to learn about imagination? So this is what we go through that. Then we have agility and adaptability. Through COVID, we had to be agile. We had to be adaptable. So we also speak to students about that. How do we become adaptable? Often we find in community work, people go into community work not being adaptable. And you would find when you work with communities, things change by the second. So we also prepare our students for that. We have a 4th module is that of collaboration across networks. How do you also broaden your networks? When you come to university, you have a little bit of a network. You're in a residence, you may be in a society, you're in a class, but how do you broaden that to actually benefit yourselves? We have the 5th module is that of critical thinking and problem solving. How do they also think about things in a critical manner? And that would also enhance their work that they do within their curricular space. 6th module is that of effective and oral communication, and then initiative and entrepreneurship. So this is a 7-module online course which is available for all students. And this is what we can also offer as a unit for you. With regards to the online course, we support for the students. So it's peer learning also. Students would be into groups, and we would connect them with a peer. And these are students that have been through the program already. So they would be their peers, and they would tutor them, they would support them. And that is also another way of learning from one another. And the second offering is this with a long-standing relationship that we've had with the social work department. Before we started out, we had just placed the social work students in communities. So we also offer support where if you are in need for us to support your students in respective communities. We currently have the African languages where we've connected them with a Paul Roos, where their students need to have a practice in practice education. That is also support that we've given. We provide transport for the students. But this relationship with the social work department has been a very long-standing relationship, and they have aligned their work with these 4 modules that I've told you about the 7, but they've selected 4 of the modules, and they've incorporated that into their first-year offering. And they've introduced that as foundational skills set for their students. So the second semester, they would only focus on 4 modules. And the 4 modules that they would focus on would really be curiosity and imagination, because I think in the work that they do, they have to be curious, they have to be imaginative. And then they have agility and adaptability, they have critical thinking, and they have collaboration across networks. So they've selected 4 of the 7 modules that really speaks to their work. And for the second semester, their first semester is orientation. Second semester, we come in and we offer this course to them via the short course division. We have the support for them as well. The tutors are there to support. And then in the second semester, our office will also place their students within communities. So there's a whole year-long relationship that we've designed with the social work department, and our relationship has already started since 2010. So you can see we can also take the experiential work into the curricular work, which also brings a different dimension to students' learning. This is just a flyer that we've designed for them that speaks to the work that we do for them. And this is what it would look like on Sun Online. So if the students would go onto Sun Online, everything will be packaged for them onto the system. And we would give them orientation, e-tutors would support them, there would be regular updates, just like SunLearn. The third offering is that of activating engaged citizenship. It's an experiential offering. It works through the experiential unit. This is where we focus on the students that have the portfolio, like I said. So this would be for student leaders in societies that hold the portfolio social impact. It will be students that are also the faculty committee students that hold the portfolio social impact, and also the students that hold the portfolio within residences. They have a year-long program with us, and at the end of the process, if they've completed all the commitments and all the pieces that needs to be completed, that recognition we would send to the office of the unit, of the experiential office unit, and they would then see if everything is in order, and if everything is good and accepted, students would receive what did I always tell the students is, when you graduate, it will be on your transcript. And this runs through the SunLearn portal. And this is really what it looks like. It will come onto the transcript. At the bottom of the transcript, it would be, say, the experiential learning initiative, and it will say what are the description of what they had. It will speak to the competencies that the student have gained, partnerships, network, interpersonal effectiveness, and it will also speak to the level of what they have. And then also the new transcript speaks to the graduate attributes that the student would have achieved. And this is really something forward thinking in our unit, in our university. I think Dr. Ruth Andrews and her team has done really great, because this is now putting our students so much forward in the workspace. You know, they are not just going out there with another degree, they are going out there with more than a degree. So really a great recognition that our students receive. The fourth and final offering that we support our students is this also an experiential learning, and this is the impacting communities through volunteerism. This is a brand new offering that we launched this year, and this is first semester offering, and then second semester. Second semester, we will have another offering of this, another offering, yes. And this is just for students that want to volunteer. They don't want a year-long program. They just want to be volunteering. We train them at the beginning. They are connected with the community. There are certain graduate attributes that they need to achieve. There are certain competencies, and we would then also design and teach them, train them how to design their own e-portfolio. And this e-portfolio is really capturing their moments of learning in communities. And this is also a preparation for them, to prepare them and saying, I'm writing my own, I can design my own website. And instead of preparing for a letter to write to the employer, I can prepare my e-portfolio, I can share all my experiences, and I can have a visual experience of who I am. And this is bringing in the digital knower in terms of the graduate attributes. This is just an example of how we would train them. The student would write about herself. She would then put up all the experiences that she has had with communities. She would write a reflection, maybe. She would, you know, anything that they've done. They even write about their academic work as well. So this is something that we've added in the volunteering. And this is also open for faculties that have experiential, that have the practical work that needs to be done in communities. Like I've said, we are working currently now with the African languages, where students go on a Friday morning to Paul Roos, and they need to work with the students that have isiXhosa as a language, and our students are part of that program of Paul Roos. This is just part of the communities that we work with. EBSK is one of the Economics Management Sciences faculty committees. They have a long-standing relationship with Legacy Center, and they, apart from just teaching tutoring, they designed that library, the one that is colorful. They also donated books to that library. They go in the afternoons and they support children with literacy and numeracy programs. This is the kind of programs that faculty committees of students can get involved in. This is just where they would say how they would assist with homework. They would tutor the learners. They would host a book drive. They would also raise funds. There was also a need for calculators, and they actually had a whole drive within the faculty for that initiative. This is Engineers Without Borders, EWB. They have also created an opportunity for students, again, that are in the STEM programs at schools. And they would host programs on a Saturday. Lecturers would also be part of these programs, and they would just broaden the student learners to show them what university is about, bring them to a university, but also work through programs that children need to work through. We also had a program where the women in STEM, in the lecturers, the engineers, spoke to the girls from the schools to say to them what it feels like to be a woman in STEM, you know. So these are the exciting programs that our students are engaging with, you know, and we can assist you if there's any support that you need. So institutional goals to achieve transformative students experience is to provide a student with a unique personal experience, so that they feel that things are happening, things are changing within themselves. We want to develop our students' graduate attributes so that they can be 21st century citizens and achieve their full potential. We want to also create relevant opportunities for work-integrated learning towards their careers and positive societal impact where possible. Colleagues, these are just some of the things that students have said. It is not just about what we give to the community, but also about the lessons and inspirations we receive in return. And these are very valuable comments that students have said, you know. Representation is so important, and that can just showing us, and that just showing up. People cannot be what they cannot see. And that is what I wish to be for learners. So engaging in social impact work has allowed me to develop a greater sense of empathy, compassion, and cultural understanding, which is something you unfortunately cannot see in textbooks. Very valuable information and learning experiences. And that specific volunteer has now, when she applied for it, she graduated last year, and she applied at a job, one of these big places here in Cape Town. I forgot the name now. And she said the whole interview was just about her experiential learning. And based on that, she got the job. And nothing, she said a little bit about her experience of her things that she's learned, but the experiential learning was what the 3/4 of the interview was about. So I think there is worth in what we are experiencing and sharing with students. We are there to support you. If there's anything that we can help you and connect your students with, please feel free to connect our office. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, colleagues. A round of applause for the two speakers. Let's see those virtual hands clapping, please, because they've really done very well, a very good job. You know, mine now is just to say thank you to you, Mawethu and Michelle, for, you know, such insightful presentations on supporting social impact through engaged scholarship, engaged citizenship, corporate citizenship, volunteership, experiential learning. You really unpacked, you know, community engagement and social impact and what it means to us as really knowledge co-creation, and also ensuring that, you know, scholars are not aloof, and you know, institutions are not ivory towers, but, you know, engaged and seek to address societal ills. You also reminded us that this is actually a mandatory thing. It's not an optional thing. We ought to do it as the institution. Students and researchers, we ought to do this. But you did also point to the lack of guidance at national level in terms of this, because it looks like, you know, everybody's doing their own thing. This institution is doing it this way, this one is doing this way. And you also pointed out that, you know, partnerships are key. You know, they are key enablers in terms of this, because you share resources as well as responsibilities, you know, with your social partners, and that it is actually mutually beneficial. Students get new skills. We provide, you know, services to them. Researchers are able to produce even more work from this kind of thing. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll just now open the floor for questions. Any questions, colleagues? You can see I'm quite passionate and excited about this. I did my whole PhD on community engagement. So yeah, any questions, colleagues? Not everybody is excited as me. Is as excited as me. Okay. So maybe one aspect, I'm sure you expected this, is in terms of, you know, assessing and measuring the impact of your social engagement activities, especially in terms of their benefits to the communities as well as their academic value. Have you managed to come up, you know, with metrics or assessment, you know, measures for such to say this project has been successful? This is what we use to actually measure it. You might not have something, most people don't have, but I just want to find out if you have anything, or have you made an attempt?
Well, we are in the process of developing the monitoring and evaluation. We're in the process of developing that. But I know nationally from the NRF is engaging with universities to try and develop a framework for measuring performance for academics that are engaged. So it's still in the process. As you would know, this type of approach is relatively new, in academia. But yeah, everything is still being developed nationally and institutionally. In fact, even internationally, because I'm involved in other international networks. It's a challenge the world over to try and, measure this kind of work.
Okay, thank you so much.
If I may add, one of the issues is so we say social impact, but then in terms of academic outputs, you will have publications or maybe start programs that are addressing a certain social issue, but the real impact happens, after some time, that the project has been completed. But for now, we measure outputs, we measure outcomes, but maybe not impact. So there is also that challenge.
Charlie wanted to add?
Yeah, I think also, because of our networks that we're in, we with the SCAN network, we sit on those boards, we with EBOSH, there's different networks that we're also involved in. And many a times we have these sessions where we do get feedback also from the partners. So feedback from partners are also very important for us. Before we start a new year again, we would have sessions like, especially now for the social work, the placements. After that session has been completed, we would have a meeting with all our partners again. Before the session starts, we have a session with them, the expectations, all of that. At the end of it, we would find out, did we meet those expectations and things? So I think that in our work is many a times about contact, and that is a very important part in our work. So we would like to always the pre and the post, So we in those networks that we are affiliated to, that is where we also get the impact in terms of if our work has been working. And if it doesn't work for now, we shift and change, because I think the partnership has settled already, if that answers your question also or adds value to it.
Yes. Now, as you are talking about partnerships, I did see you were talking about the setting up a library, etc. And I was just wondering as to, I did speak to Mawetu at some stage, you might not remember, but I did speak to him to say, as the library, we are also here, when there are such projects, we would really like to be involved.
Okay.
Yes. There is a hand up. Let me check who this is. Paul. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi there, this is Juliet.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very insightful presentations. My question really, you mentioned, Michelle, that you've got a good partnership with the social working department, with the arts faculty.
Yes.
What other faculty, what's the extent of faculty involvement in the Engaged Citizenship module program that you are running?
On other faculties? Are you speaking?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, correct. I'm saying,
Okay.
I'm trying to understand what is the level of engagement with the institution beyond
Okay.
social impact as a division. Yeah.
Okay, so my work is really with students based. Mawetu is the one, and I think Renee, they work with the faculty. So maybe Mawetu can tell you about the faculty, but if they come to me and say there's a need for students to be placed, or there's a need for students, then I then respond to that. But I don't work directly with the faculty. Mawetu and Renee are the people that would go to the faculty meetings, the faculty, and that is where the needs happen. So I think faculties, must also unleash their faculty committees to us. We have faculty committees that work. We've got the agri-sciences that are involved. The theology student faculty committee is involved in us. So most faculty committees are working with us because we support them with finances. We give them money to go to their projects. We give them money for programmatic costs. So there is funds on the student end that we can support the students. So other needs with other faculties, I think Mawetu and Renee brings that needs to me, and then I will respond to that. Does that answer your question?
Sort of. I'd like to hear
I'd
what
like
Mawetu
to
has to say.
Yeah. So with the social work, the initiative started as student volunteerism, and then later it became part of the academic offering or teaching and learning or engaged teaching and learning. So social work is consulting with our unit in terms of placing students for practicals, if I can call it that. So other faculties can also approach our unit if they're looking for, practical setups. So we can connect that, but then it will be run by a faculty. So we manage relationships that are institutional, but at faculty level, we can facilitate the connect, but then that relationship will be managed at the faculty level.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
And then we have a registry of which teaching and learning programs are engaged, which research programs are engaged.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, colleagues. Mr. Russ, I see you have your hand up. You are muted, sir. If you are muted, unmute yourself.
Okay, no, mine is just a comment, is not a question. I just want to commend Michelle and Mawetu, they're long-standing colleagues at the university. I'm not going to give away their age. I'm not going to
and your age.
But I know them for a very long time. I'm just going to say that. Hi, Michelle.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Russ. We have reached the end. In any case, colleagues, let me just check if there is any question that I left out, maybe on the chat. If you see anything, you can just let me. It looks like there is nothing on the chat as well. I was going to allow. Are the projects only in the Western Cape communities? That's the question.
So for the students, we because we provide financial support for the students, due to funds and money and transport cost, we can only support the Western Cape. We are trying to see how we can support the military campus. We are going to go there in the next 2 weeks. But for now, it will just be the two main campus and Tygerberg at the moment.
Well, in terms of research and teaching and learning mainly in the Western Cape, because you need to be accessible to the site. But for research, we engage nationally with communities in the Eastern Cape. It's depending on the focus of the project, but mainly in the Western Cape. But we have examples where we engage with communities in the Eastern Cape and other provinces.
Okay, thank you so much. There was a comment from Mr. Kiza. I think you talked about links. I was not sure what links he was talking about now. Can you give an indication, Mr. Mkiza, if you are still here? I missed information. Go ahead.
Thank you. The links has been dropped by Kitchener. I was just asking the links to the websites that were shown by Michelle, just so that I can jump into there quickly, because one of the questions I actually asked is, I missed the info on when a person can sign up for some of these. I think I had September sometime, but I didn't hear if it's something this year. It only starts at the beginning of the year.
Okay, so for the student leaders, thank you for the question. For the student leaders that hold a portfolio within faculty committees and societies and students in residences, it starts in September till August. That will be the year-long timeline. Students that are volunteering within the volunteering program, we have a cohort that would start in the beginning of the third term, the 21st of February, 21st of July. So what we can do is we can also circulate the flyer to you, and you can send that to your, it actually closes today already, but we can still keep it open for you till the 21st. And that will be opportunities for you where volunteerism happens, and only volunteerism. Yeah, hope that helps.
Okay, now thank you so much, colleagues. We have reached the end of this session. I really appreciate everybody's engagement, input. It was really a very insightful session. I do expect those virtual hands, colleagues, just to applaud our colleagues here for the job well done. And maybe for the next session, just to announce it, it will be at 11:30 until 12, 12:30. It will be done by Dr. Annick Revers, and it's collective care and ethical imperative in research. And yeah, thank you so much, colleagues, and all the best for the rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.